what's up, everybody? I'm Alex Warren, and welcome to Locked In, the show where we investigate the truth behind the clickbait. Once my guest steps in the studio, we set a timer for 60 minutes, lock the door, throw away the key, and the only way out is when the timer hits 0. In this episode, we're locking in Adam W.
Wow, I didn't know I was locked in here. I thought I was here voluntarily.
By regulations, we can't actually lock the door. I just have my friend Calvin.
Okay, yes. I mean, if I really had to leave, I could leave. Okay.
True.
All right, just making sure.
A lot of times in this podcast, we kind of structure it where a way if I accuse you of a crime, and by the end of it, I decide whether you're guilty. In this podcast, we talk about pretty heavy stuff and sometimes even therapy sessions, so it's nice to kind of have a fun element to it. Your crime is stealing an Oscar.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty heavy one.
I look like a stealer?
No, I didn't say that.
I'm not.
I didn't say you were a stealer.
No, well, I think I'm being accused. Yeah. I didn't steal an Oscar.
Okay.
I didn't.
And that's for me to tell by the end of this.
Yeah.
You're the first person I'm ever interviewed or having a podcast with that I haven't gotten to know. Like, I don't know you personally. I just know of you.
Likewise, yeah. I mean, it's crazy that we haven't crossed paths at this point.
Honestly, it is.
Because I've known of you as well. And I usually, you run into somebody somewhere at a party or, at an event. Do you go out a lot?
No.
Me neither. That's the problem. I never go out. I'm just editing all day, or I'm shooting all day, or I go to friends' birthdays.
Sure.
That's about it.
I don't know if it's just me or maybe this happens to a lot of people. This job has made me more introverted than extroverted. I enjoy my time at home, and I have a girlfriend I've been dating for 4 years, and I watch just endless amounts of TV and hang out with my dogs in my free time.
Oh wow! I mean, I've been looking for a wife for the past 2 years. It's tough. It's tough. I'm living this single life, so I'm doing exactly what you're doing at home, just by myself.
That must be nice, though.
It is, but at a certain point, it's I don't know, because I used to go out, right? Like when I was first started shooting content, it's nice to go out. You want to meet people, and you want to network. But at a certain point, when you kind of figure out your flow and know exactly what you want to do, career-wise, which I do, it's I just don't have the motivation to go out anymore, It's the same shit, I feel like.
Okay, so I actually grew up watching your Vines.
Wow.
Which is
something I feel old.
Is it something? No, I was 14?
How old are you right now?
21.
Holy shit.
Why? How old are you?
Guess.
28.
29.
Really?
I'm still in my 20s, but yeah, I'm right there. I'm touching 30.
How old were you when you were making Vines?
You know what? You know what's crazy? I actually never even started on Vine. People always come up to me and they're like, "Oh, I love your Vines," and I just don't correct them because I'm not gonna be like, "Well, actually, I started on Instagram."
Well, there was Instagram skits.
Yeah, Instagram skits, but it was that Vine era. It was with that Vine group, but so many people always come up to me and they're like, "I love your Vines," and I just never correct them.
You're in a bunch of Vine compilations.
Yes,
online.
a lot. Really, anybody that ever stops me for anything, if they recognize me or anything, I never correct anybody. I'm just yeah, sure, let's take a picture, and that's it.
A lot of the times when I was coming up with vlog bits, I would watch Vine compilations, and 90% of them were just your skits.
Wow. Yeah. You know what it is? I think so. One time I had got stopped by somebody, and they were and it's always cool when you get stopped by somebody and they're like, "Yo, I've been watching your content and it really changed my life." And I was and this happened multiple times, but the most recent time somebody came up to me "Oh, I love your videos. I was going through a really dark time and I watch your stuff." And we had this really deep heart to heart. And he was "Oh, even my brought my family to watch your stuff, and we watch your stuff at night, and it really changed my life. Is there any way to take a picture?" And I was "Yeah, of course, let's take a picture." The kid he looks at his phone, after he takes a picture, looks at me, and he's like, "I love you, Anwar." And I'm
fucking Christ.
It was such a deep combo that I couldn't correct him. And I was "Dude, I love you too." And,
he had to say your name and everything.
Yeah. You called me the wrong guy.
No, he didn't have to he could have just said "I love you." He had to say the wrong name.
And then I was "Dude, just post it and I'll share it on my page." Yeah. So I think what the issue is, I get mixed with Anwar a lot. You know Anwar, right? You've seen his Vines for sure. Same Vines, sketch comedy. So yeah, I get mixed with him a lot, but it was that Vine era, yeah.
Right.
But I still feel old, when you say that. People come up to me and say, "I grew up watching." I'm "Dude, you're still freaking 17 years old. What do you mean you grew up watching me?"
Well, the thing is for me, I was inspired a lot by the Vine industry, and everyone who was a part of Vine kind of founded for me. I started making Instagram skits with Ben Asler and those guys.
Oh yeah, of course.
So that's what I started in a little high school and stuff like that, and I was watching you guys do it, and I was "Oh shit, this could be me." And so I kept making those videos, and over time, I wanted to bring it to YouTube, did the short form, heavily inspired by David Dobrik, as everyone knows, and stuff like that. And so it's kind of interesting that I'm able to kind of have conversations with people like you guys who paved the way necessarily.
You know what the crazy thing is? From my perspective, the mind blowing thing is if you watch that and you were "Oh, I want to get to that level and do that and do
Right.
that for a career. In my mind, when I'm doing it, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, you know, like, dude, I'm broke as hell. Like, I have no clue how I'm.
There was no money in Vine.
Nothing, bro. I mean, even forget about like just Vine. Once you transferred over to like IG and they started doing the 15-second skits,
Sure.
And then it went to like 30 in a minute. Even like that whole year, 2 years, I was making no money. I was like very broke, like doing this stuff. Like,
What was the switch?
so I had got to around 500,000 followers, and at this time I had like 500K followers. I was in like a 2-bedroom with 6 people, like curtain in the room, and I have like 500,000 followers. I'm making no money. I wasn't posting on YouTube, just because I felt like my content didn't work on YouTube.
Right.
Back around that time, YouTube was very vlog centric. It's still like vlog centric, but like I mean, people do like people.
Now it's like, how far can I drive my car and film it?
Yeah. And there's challenges and it's like things like that. But like back then, like my content, the Vine type of content, wouldn't work on YouTube. So it's not like I could post on YouTube and get paid from the platform. So I was like, dude, I have like 500,000 followers. Like a bunch of people know me, but like I'm making no money. Like this is terrible. And hanging around with like Batch and, you know, a few of these guys, they invited me to shoots and stuff. And I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You know, they're asking me like, oh, how would you shoot this? And I'm like, oh, I'd shoot it from here. You know, like, I don't know. I'm learning. And I saw they were all doing branded content, like brand deals. And I'm like, how the fuck do I get a brand deal? Like, that's what I want to do, you know? Dude, I just manifested. I said, like, if I have a video that goes very viral, you know, a brand will reach out and give me money. So I just made it my mission to just go super viral on a video. And I did. I ended up creating this video that ended up getting like 7 million views on Instagram, which back then was like a big deal.
Still a big deal.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. I'm like such a numbers guy, so I'm
Dude,
like,
that's how I am. And sometimes like I realize it's like me 3 years ago. I joined, like started the Hype House with Thomas probably 2.5 years ago. And like before that I was homeless. So it's like, you know, from then to where I'm at now, to be able to like look at that and be like, wow. Now I'm like, oh, I wish I got 5 million views on that. So it's I realized I take that for granted a lot.
Dude, there was a point where if like, I was like, dude, if I have $5,000 in my bank account, like you can't tell me nothing, you know? Now, like that's like, you know, and same thing with numbers. I think everything, like when you get to a certain accolade, it's like, dude, right now I look at like, if a video gets 1 million views, it's a flop for me. Like, dude, I would like, pray to God to just get 100,000 views, you know? That would be like, you know, the promised land. So it's crazy how like your perception changes as you just continue to level up.
I noticed that you're doing a lot of like comedy.
Yeah.
It's like obviously started with your skits and everything like that. And you're kind of moving into, I feel like after watching the roast of Bryce Hall, and like that was something where it's like, oh shit, you're fucking hilarious. But you've done a lot of stand up that I've seen like on my For You page. Is that something it's like the goal for you?
It is a goal. I wouldn't say it's the goal.
Like, what's the goal?
For me, I want to be the biggest comedic actor, writer, director of all time.
Oh, damn.
That's my goal. And with that, you know, includes stand-up, doing arenas, things of that nature. But I mean, I feel like a lot of times, or a lot of people that I know at least, you know, they build up their social media and it's all just like a launch pad to, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that. And, you know, rightfully so, everyone has their own dreams and goals.
Right.
But for me, you know, like what I'm doing, the audience I have, the content I'm putting out, I'm never going to stop doing it. That is an end goal for me, you know? Now, leveraging that to get other things that I want, I will do. But, you know, what I have here is not like, I'm not going to be like, okay, I'm done with skits or done creating daily content to go do stand-up in arenas or create movies, films, TV, whatever. I still want to keep doing that. And whether that's me, you know, figuring out an entire team. I mean, I do have a team that helps me create my content. But whether like automating that so that continues to keep going and then being able to go parallel and do other things as well, I will. But yeah, for sure, I want to start, I want to do a tour where I'm doing arenas,
I can
stand up. Thank you. And then I want to, you know, create comedy films, you know, Super Bad, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Pineapple Express. Those are the films I grew up loving. And I personally don't think there has been any comedy films that have really touched that era of, you know, comedy when like Judd Apatow was making films and, you know, a few of like The Hangover, those films. Like ever since then, I feel like there hasn't been a real comedy film that's a quotable film, you know?
I feel like it's losing it. Like I feel like it's slowly going down and I've noticed that a lot too. What do you see yourself like? How do you see yourself putting that to fruition?
Well, I have things in the works right now. You know, doing stuff with Wheelhouse. We have a few projects coming out or developing and creating. And I mean, look, so when I first started, I was an assistant, right? I was just assisting somebody. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, it was an on-call job. And I usually get off around like 11 p.m. And what I would do is from 11 p.m. to around 2 a.m. I'd work on how do I make sketches, how do I do comedy. The theory that I built was everybody has a day job, right? In your off time, you work on what you want your real job to be, right? So I was an assistant, and my real job, what I wanted to do was to do skits, right? So 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. every day, I'm working on that. 11 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Jesus Christ.
Right? I'm working on researching, watching other people's stuff. How do you create, right? And it got to the point where I put so much work in my off time that my off time became my real job, which was creating skits, right? So now I create skits. That's my 9 to 5. That's my job, right? And in my off time, I'm writing scripts. I'm figuring out how do I develop a show, how to create a show, how to create a movie, right? And it'll be a certain point where, you know, that off time, I put so much work into that becomes my full-time gig, and then I'll move something else to my off time.
Damn, you have that all figured out.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Trial and error, you know.
Well, it's beautiful because a lot of things you're saying is something that applies to me. I mean, there's a lot to unpack with what you just said, which I want to do, but it's also like I built what I have now to essentially leverage record label deals. Yeah. And so like that's what I'm doing with my music. It's something that's very true to me. I've gone through a very traumatic, obviously, upbringing, so it's something that I write about in music that people can relate to, and they see it and they're like, wow. And then the work ethic is fucking insane. But who are you assisting?
So his name's Kenny Hamilton. He managed a few people in music. Really great guy. I knew him before I moved here. So I had actually hit him up and was like, yo, because after I had graduated college, I was like, I didn't want to do a 9 to 5. And I was like, I want to be my sister came up with the idea. She's like, oh, you've always been funny. You should be an actor. And I was like, okay. So I was living in Texas at the time, and I had called my buddy Kenny up, and he's like, look, if you want to come out here, like, I don't have much money to give you. Like, I don't really need an assistant. He was kind of like, you know, figuring out his own, like, you know, lane and what he wanted to do. And he's like, I'll hire you and, you know, give you like $600 a month to just, you know, be my assistant and just help out. And my cousin was living in Long Beach, which at the time I didn't know how far Long Beach was from LA, and I didn't have a car. So I moved into a studio apartment with him, and I was giving him like $300 a month. Every day I'm like catching myself taking this damn freaking bus and train at freaking 7 a.m. coming back at 12 every day. Barely, I was in Long Beach for like a year and a half. I never spent a day there. Jesus. Every day I was in LA, and like in between, like, you know, it was an on-call job. So like if he asked me to go do this, I have to go do it. But there was free time, and I remember I would just hang out at LA Fitness because my cousin he had a pass, but he never went. But my cousin's like bald, so I'm like signing in with this pass, and this bald guy, you know, it looks nothing like me. And like they eventually caught me like after 9 months, and they kicked me out of there. But yeah, that's pretty much what I did all day.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
that's an intense story.
Yeah.
Okay, so where did
I can afford a LA Fitness pass now.
I believe you.
Yeah. I can afford a few. Yeah.
I just got a 24-hour fitness pass.
They're both good. They're both good.
I don't know what I'm doing there.
Do you even go?
I've gone 5 times now.
Wow.
And it's like my first time ever like actually stepping foot in a gym.
Wow. It's 24 hours. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I go like
you can go whenever you want.
I know.
So it's really inexcusable that you've been 5 times. It's, like, it's not even like the gym's closed. It's closed.
I don't know.
It's tough, dude. It's like, well, you have to get in that consistent routine to really, like, one thing can send me off the deep end for like my diet working out. Like if I have one bad meal, I'll skip 3 months.
Wait,
yeah, it's
really?
Bad. Yeah, because it's like when you get on a consistent schedule,
right?
You have like format. Oh, what is? I don't even know what keto really is.
No carb, no sugar.
So you don't eat
like low carb, low sugar. So I put my body into ketosis. So it's less than 50 net carb, or less. I do less than 30.
You said hypnosis?
Ketosis.
What is that? Is that a form of hypnosis?
No. Okay, so it was originally a diet that was created for people with epilepsy, and it solves that. But a lot of people in LA, of course, figured out that it's a very fast way to cut. So you do like low carb, low sugar. I go to Erewhon where they have like the desserts that are keto, but I also just get like alternatives. Like I don't eat rice. It's pretty much just meat and cheese.
What do you do for cheat meals?
Cheat meals?
Yeah.
I'd get like a Panda Express orange chicken entree. I know, yeah. Cheat meals, I go cheat. But I can only have a cheat meal. I can't do like a cheat day.
Yeah, it's not a cheat day. That's what people don't know. It's the cheat meal.
I can only do a cheat meal. And when I do that, like you have to understand In-N-Out it has 0 carbs if you don't get bread. It's just, I just get the meat and cheese. So it's like I can eat that, and like one small entree of orange chicken is less than...
It's not a small entree. It's big.
Right, but it's less than 50 net carbs.
You know what it is though? People don't realize you could do a lot of damage in one day. Like if you're on a real diet, like really 2 days,
Right.
you could really do some damage. Like you could really like change your body. And
I lost
fuck yourself
45
up.
pounds in 2 months.
Wow.
Which is
congrats.
I don't feel like it's healthy.
No, it's probably not. But
No, it's calorie deficit and ketosis, which you lose a lot of weight.
wow, that's 45 pounds. That's
Because your
insane.
body's eating your fat.
I've never gained or lost 20 pounds. I've always like kind of been the same, which is that's
Oh, for
insane.
real?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what my body's been through, to be honest.
Yeah.
Anyway, so with that, where does this drive come from? Like why you've a very hardworking person, and a lot of my drive came from a lot of the things that I went through as a child, or even to being homeless, and I never want to go back to that. So it's something where I've kind of raised myself into like some workaholic asshole. What like made you just one day be like, hey, I'm gonna work my ass off?
Yeah.
Because I don't see that a lot here, especially with like the TikTok algorithm and all these things. It's very easy for a lot of people to blow up nowadays, and so they kind of just write it off and party as much as they can.
For sure.
What was the difference for you?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, I guess my upbringing, I really grew up with my 3 sisters and my mom. My mom was a lunch aide, so I mean, I wouldn't say we were poor, but we weren't well off, you know. You know, there's a lot of things that I wanted to do growing up that, you know, we just couldn't afford to do, and I just didn't have the access to do. And, you know, I had a couple friends, you know, who you know, parents had some good jobs, and I kind of got a taste of like the lifestyle of like, you know, what you can make of yourself, you know. Growing up, I just always knew I never wanted a 9 to 5. I could never see myself just having a basic life, you know.
Right.
And not knocking it, you know, some people are very content with, you know, whatever level they're at, you know. But for me, I just always wanted something more. And I knew that my talent was always to make people laugh. Actually, growing up, so I played a lot of sports. I was playing football. Sure. I ended up playing Division I football 4 years in Texas. And
in Texas?
Yeah, SMU.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I ended up walking on there playing for 4 years. And I was like, oh, I want to be in the NFL. That's the thing I want to do. But, you know, throughout my life, the one thing I never had a try at was being funny. It was just something I was always gifted with. I was always class clown. I was always able to befriend anybody. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it comes in handy because, like, even people like, you know, certain people in certain classes are people who are rich, or, you know, they don't, you know, they hang around with people that are similar to them, right? But for me, I've always been able to use comedy as a gateway to get into any situation, any circle, any group, you know, get any friend. And, you know, I never thought anything. I never thought of it being a career. And when the thing didn't work out with football and I wasn't good enough to make it to that next level to the NFL, you know, I was like, well, you know, I've always been funny. Let me try that. And once I got that gratification of making people laugh, hearing that laugh, like even when I had like very little fans, like if anybody came up to me and said, hey, I watch your stuff, like, you know, it's really funny. Dude, I would take that so much to heart that's what would just like burn under me for motivation. I got you. And now every time like I get stopped or someone gives me a compliment or they, you know, I get to make someone laugh, that just, I'm like, I need to make more people laugh. I need to make more people laugh. I need to make more people laugh. And my goal and the where the motivation comes from is I just want to make as many people in the entire world laugh. Globally.
Damn.
For free. And that's the cool thing about, you know, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. You're giving quality content to anybody in the world who just, all they need is a Wi-Fi, you know, signal.
True.
You know, and it's free. And of course, you know, you get to a point where some things you charge and whatever, but that's what really drives me.
On the topic of that, I know you do charity work. What made you start doing that?
Dude, it's just the greatest feeling. It's the greatest feeling giving back. And, you know, whenever you give anybody anything, it comes back tenfold. You know, and I don't want to say that's the reason for doing it, but it's like, you know, so 2 years ago, I built a school in Bali, Indonesia, and it's for 190 kids, and basically it costs around $30K to do. Now, people in positions like us, right, you could take $30K and you can buy a watch, you can, you know, put some money down in a car, you can do whatever, but I think the fact of like, and even when you spend $30K like donating to charity, you don't always really see it, you know? Like it goes to a good cause, but you don't really actually see your money do it, you know?
Sure.
Overall, you see the message. But with this, what was so cool and what really inspired me to do it more, and now I'm creating another school, is you're telling me it costs $30,000 to give 190 kids a chance, to give them an opportunity to do something. That's insane. That's insane. Now,
that is fucking nuts.
Now, are 190 of those kids going to actually go on and do something? Probably not, but 5 or 10 will, and they come back, and the school was built in a village where there's not even any building structure. So the school doesn't only serve as a school, it also serves as a town hall, a shelter, it rains, and this village is not accounted for by the government. So they're just on their own, and they have to figure it out by themselves. Giving 190 kids that opportunity to potentially learn English, right, and then be able to travel to the mainland of Bali and work at a hotel or get a job because they have the ability to speak English, which is the key requirement, gives them the ability to make some money and then therefore, apply to a university and hopefully get in, or apply to a higher level of education, right? So when you go on those trips and, when you donate to a lot of things, yeah, sure, if you give like clothes or shoes or socks, it's great. But theoretically, it's just a Band-Aid, right? Because the shirt's gonna get old, the shoes they're gonna grow out of them. The socks are gonna get dirty. You're not really doing anything. It's almost like the mentality of teach a man to fish versus give a man a fish, right?
You're building a layer for them to be able to apply it.
What we're doing with that is we're basically eliminating poverty through education, because that's the key factor for any of them to be able to get out of that situation.
You're giving them the key; they just have to actually use it.
Exactly.
Damn.
So and dude,
that's sick.
Yeah, it's just the greatest feeling. Like, dude, who knows? 10 years from now, one of those kids will be like, hey, because of your school, because of that opportunity you gave me, I got to do this and help my family. And it just comes down to opportunity. It's like, why should kids here get an opportunity to go to education? And sometimes we take it for granted when those kids are so grateful for a book, one book. You get what I'm saying? And giving them that opportunity, it's hands down the greatest thing. I'd rather spend $2 million on that than buying a crazy house or a car or whatever. That's just, Hey, don't get me wrong, I still buy nice stuff, but
I feel like that's the most rewarding thing ever, because like you said earlier, even a clothes, but a car as well is like, it's very easy to get caught up in the LA lifestyle. I mean, I caught myself a little bit too. It's like, I bought the car. I bought
I'm over here wearing a Dior jacket.
Oh, is that Dior?
Yeah.
I've never bought anything designer. I just never saw it. But with me, it was always cars. I grew up loving cars, and so I did it and stuff. And it's rewarding at a sense, but it's it just sits in my driveway. I don't even.
Yeah, it gets old. It gets old after
I don't know why, but the idea of like you said, $30,000 can help potentially 190 people is just fucking nuts.
It's insane.
It's so cool.
It's insane. So yeah, the second one that's already pretty much done being built for 500 kids in Madagascar, Africa, and same type of situation, a village. It's not really accounted for by the government, and yeah, same goal. Teach them the basics, teach them English, and like I said, every kid doesn't go on to do this or that, but it's that small group of kids that do, and then they come back and they help the rest of their village. So even the teachers at my school, at the school in Bali, they actually used to be in that village. Somehow they learned English and they left. Now they've come back and they're the teachers volunteering because it's their people, it's their village. So, they get it better than anyone else, and they speak English. So they're able to educate the children there.
That is, that's fucking nuts. That's cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That must feel good.
Well, that's just one, and this is the second one, but the goal is to build 1,000. And right. I mean, right now it's going one at a time, but it's how do I leverage my audience alongside with the money that I'm going to donate to build 40 at a time, 50 at a time, right? That's the goal. And then, 1,000 is just a benchmark. We can go forever if it's possible.
I mean, I don't think a lot of people are doing that, so that's something commendable, at least.
Yeah. And the other cool thing about posting about it too is you might get some comments here and there of oh, you don't have to post this. But as I've been posting this, there's other influencers saying, I want to build my school and I want to build my school. I hope it becomes a competition, Yeah, let's build as many as we can. I mean, I think the overall goal is just to educate people who don't have the opportunity.
Are you competitive?
Yeah, I'm competitive. So
are you?
Yeah.
Do you catch yourself sometimes I found it early in this, and I got a lot of help from Logan Paul and James Charles. Those were the two, as I was starting out, really helped me kind of ground myself a bit and kind of stop focusing on other people and what people were saying about
some good mentors.
Yeah. So it was something for me. It was kind of I was thankful enough that they were willing. They just went out of their way and would call me and help me out. And
that's
stuff
awesome.
Like that, which is just amazing for me. Did you ever catch yourself kind of being oh shit, in comparing yourself to other people or stuff like that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's impossible not to. I mean, I think, at a certain point you have to be aware that, you pick and choose what you compare to. But yeah, it's I'm a numbers guy, dude. I'm like constantly looking.
I got
at
to where I am studying the algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm looking at analytics. I'm looking at like how much viewership I'm doing in 5 minutes, for 7 minutes, for 10 minutes. Like I study all this stuff. I'm looking at other people's numbers just to see where I'm at relatively, like, you know, what I could be changing. And I'm always picking and choosing what I'm taking from other creators, calling creators, watching their stuff. So, I mean, yeah, for sure I compare myself. I mean, it's not to the point where it's unhealthy,
right?
But I definitely do it more than I should. It's how I know if I'm leveling up or not, you know?
That's exactly how I think of it.
I use it as a measure. Like I have to compare myself to other people in this business.
You know how those people like that are tone deaf?
Yeah.
I'm clout deaf. Clout deaf.
Oh, clout deaf.
Like that's how I think of it. It's like I don't know the scope of things, and I still view myself as like less than a lot of people, and that's where it comes unhealthy for me at least. And it's kind of like a thing where like my friends are like, no, you're up there, but I'm like, but no, because of this and this and this, and it's kind of like it becomes detrimental to me. And so I kind of just like tune everything out, and I kind of just create and then get the fuck off the platform. But
you don't ever like check your numbers or kind of like, I mean, like, you know, because even for reference, like
TikTok's the only one.
Yeah,
TikTok's the only one. The other ones I kind of just fuck off. I post a YouTube video, I fuck off. I don't do any after promotion. Music, I have a whole strategy of how I promote my music and stuff like that, and it's all through TikTok and maybe the occasional YouTube. And once the song's out, I do 3 and then I'm done and I fuck off. But that's just something. It's like eventually, like I get my hopes up really high and they end up like being crushed because I'm overly ambitious or I'm overly manifesting something. And so it's kind of just it's ended up hurting me in a way. So I kind of just. I'm not really a consumer anymore. I kind of just post and leave.
I do post and leave as well, but then I'll come back and be like, oh, what did that video? How many views did that video do? Like I won't watch other people's stuff as much as I used to, because then it's like, for us it's work, right? So it's like it becomes too much, and then like you justify, oh, I'm gonna be scrolling on TikTok for 7 hours because this is work, you know? When it's like, I'm not working.
I write it off as work as well, yeah.
Yeah, so I think you get lost in that world. So
I've been finding hobbies.
Hobbies?
Dude, hobbies have been helping me.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Legos.
Dude,
I've been building Legos.
That's not even what, like building Legos?
I have a Millennium Falcon I've been building.
Wow, that sounds stressful, man.
No, bro, it's therapeutic. You find the right piece, you put it where it belongs. It's the only thing that I can control. You got to think of it like that. It's like I know exactly that they're giving me this piece. I know that it's only supposed to go in one spot, and they give me the tools and the directions to put it there. And evidently, I know what the outcome is. So therefore, I have control of the entire situation.
Wow, I've never heard of a grown man playing Legos as a hobby.
How grown of a man can you be in this industry, though?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely older than Legos, for sure. I mean, I mean, I'm not judging it, though. I mean, it's like whatever your vice is. Yeah, I play golf. You know, I play golf like once a week. And I go by myself. I like going by myself. I mean, I go with friends here and there, but it's not even about being good or not. It's just you get in the cart, and it's like relaxing in a sense, you know? You don't check your phone.
Surfing's that.
Surfing,
you can't bring your phone out to surf.
Yeah, you can. That OtterBox case.
Oh my god. Yeah. Where you put it?
You hold it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you hold it. I'm just saying it's possible.
All right.
Surfing's tough, man. Surfing is like I almost broke my toe surfing. Yeah.
How?
I only went once. I was like riding. I don't even know the terminology. I was fucking ripping the board.
Oh, okay.
And
on whitewash, it was like white water that hit, and you kind of rode that.
I don't even know what that means. No.
So a wave breaks and it's blue, and once the wave breaks, it turns white.
No, all this water was brown, man. I don't know. Well, yeah.
Where were you surfing?
I don't know, man. It was some vacation. Okay. And I ended up jumping off the board because I was done. I didn't want to surf anymore. Right. And I landed on some rocks.
Reef.
Yeah, reef, and freaking right on my toe.
Oh, damn.
Haven't been out there since.
I got a nickname in high school called Reefy because I was in a competition, and we were in a surf competition, and I fell off the board. And at this time, it's 3 feet deep with reef. And so those rocks are out there. And so when I fell, I inadvertently smacked my face into the reef. And
shit.
I have like a deviated nose now because of it. And I was bleeding, and the guy on the telecom was like, "Good job, Reefy." And so like,
what an asshole!
So
you get up, you're like bleeding, your nose is broken. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened. Yeah. So all right, you obviously our job isn't traditional. My mom was not the most supportive of mine. How was your parents when you decided you wanted to do this?
So obviously I'm Middle Eastern. So my
You're
parents.
first generation Egyptian American.
Yeah, yeah. So my mom's like, my mom and dad are like, yeah, you gotta be a doctor, or you gotta be a lawyer or something. Like they moved to this country for me to get a better education, so I could be, a doctor, lawyer.
Sure.
And I did go to college, and they were happy with that. But then when I decided, like, hey, I'm not gonna be a doctor, and I'm not gonna be a lawyer, and I don't want a 9 to 5. They were like, wow, what the hell are you doing? Like, what are you gonna do with your life? And I was like, I want to be a comedian. And my mom was supportive in the sense of like, she's like, all right, go try it. Let's see what happens, right? And nothing happened. And she's like, you need to come back home and you need to get a real job. Like, this is getting ridiculous. And I was like, I'm making videos on Instagram. My mom like barely speaks English. She doesn't even know what the hell Instagram is. And she's like, Instagram? What? Like, what are you talking about? Whatever. And then I'll never forget. This was like probably like 2 years into it doing it, and I was making like enough money to where I didn't have to ask her for money, but I wasn't making money. And I was in the city, New York, and coincidentally, there's like a freaking 3-bus field trip, right? This is like my demo, like kids on a school bus,
God.
they all have seen my videos.
Oh God.
And we're walking, and I've been telling my mom like through this past like 3 months, like I'm famous, like people know me. She's like, shut up, like you're not making any money, like get a job, whatever. So I get swarmed by like 3 buses of kids, like 30 kids a bus. They literally encompass us, and it's me and my mom, and everyone's like, like taking pictures, videos.
Oh, that must have felt so good.
Yeah, it was cool, and it's like, like when you get stopped, you can very easily get stopped by 1 or 2 people and just go about your day. But then like if you get stopped by a group of people, then like chaos happens.
Comes an hour meet and greet.
Yeah, because then there's other people who don't even know who you are, and they're just like, oh, who is that? And they want to get involved. So we get swarmed. And then like literally, this is like, it almost seemed like I planned this. Like a cop comes in and like escorts us out. And they're like, Scuba, back up, pushes us out. And we get in the car, and my mom's like, holy shit, you are famous. Like, this is crazy. And then she downloaded Instagram, and then now she's like the first person to comment. She's like, yeah, she's like, so like, I'm constantly growing, so like if I hit like 4 million, she's the first one to text me screenshot. Like, you just hit 4 million. I'm like, Mom, I know.
That's gotta feel nice.
Yeah, and then she's like she's in the comments fighting with fans. I'm like, if someone says something's not funny, do not reply to them. Like, you can't be in here fighting with them. If they find out you're my mom, they're gonna roast you like even harder. Right. So she's super supportive of it now. But it's one of those things where like no one believes in you until you do it. Right? And it's like, this is a crazy idea until it happens.
Yeah, it was like once you do it, it's like, okay, well, this doesn't last forever. And then it's like,
exactly.
And once it was like 3 years, it was kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
Good job.
and the same thing too with like friends, like people are like, oh, you're doing those dumb skits, like, oh, you're doing like, this isn't funny, whatever.
Until their little brother or sister likes us, and then it's like, hey, will you send them a video?
Exactly. Yeah. Fuck your birthday. No, yeah, and it's like I don't take anything personal ever, because I think that's very key. Like in the world we're in, I never take anything personal.
I don't hold a grudge.
Yeah, because I mean, how many people have dissed you like when you were coming up? Because like for me, I would ask people like, hey, can I be in your video, man? Like I have this idea, and they'd be like, you don't really have followers. Like get the hell out of here.
I even get that to this day sometimes.
Wow.
Which is pretty. It sucks a bit, but like I think in the beginning it was something along the lines of like, the David Dobrik stuff really held me down a bit. And evidently, once people got to know me and realized like it was kind of how I am, it became like it validated after Tana. Like Tana started hanging out with me a lot, and then Logan, and then Jake. Like Jake was prominently, like my first collab with him was like a diss piece. It was kind of like nice. He called me David Dobrik the entire video.
Yeah.
And then after that, like Logan and I started getting close, and then Jake kind of like me and him started getting close. And it was this thing where evidently I started getting credibility. And so it sucked in the beginning, but it wasn't like I didn't understand where they were coming from. It was very apparent what was happening. So it was kind of like over time, I think, growing up in this space and obviously having people that I was heavily influenced by and kind of growing up, like raising myself, I realized over time it was like it was something that I was finding myself. And I was finding like my roots and kind of where I was going to go in this career. And it's ever changing. I mean, even now I'm 21. I've been doing this for
That's
a
crazy.
little almost 3 years. I've been doing this since I was 11, but like I have a channel like called AlexMan1332, and it's got all these videos. I was messing around with video effects and editing on iMovie, and I was like trying to understand how everyone did those things. Like PewDiePie was like 2011. So,
but you were on both sides of the coin. You know what I'm saying? You were.
I started on YouTube and promoted my YouTube videos on TikTok, and that's when it inevitably blew me up. So it actually counterproductive. Like it quite literally promoted each other, and it was kind of like a full circle of like, you know, I would promote my Instagram on my TikTok, and then I would promote my YouTube on my TikTok, and then my YouTube would promote my Instagram, and my Instagram would promote my TikTok. So it was like a full circle.
Yeah, you had a whole circle of life going on. Yeah.
So it was nice. And over time I found myself. I also found my inner circle, and you know, I'm where I'm at today because of it, and I don't regret anything I did.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like you don't ever want to get caught, and so many people do that. Like there's people who have dissed me, not dissed me, like I'd ask them to be in some, like shoot a video with them, be in my video or be in their video, and they would say no because I have 300 followers, which I get now, right?
Right.
But I'm thinking at the time like, but I have such a funny idea, right? And they're like,
that's how I am.
Yeah.
I don't care how many followers you have. If you have a funny ass vlog bit, I'm gonna film with you.
Exactly. Yeah. So and then going through that, you know, dude, I've met so many people twice. Like I swear I've met so many people twice.
I feel so bad when I do that.
And I don't, like, if someone doesn't, like, I've met people, like, when I had no followers, and then I meet the same person who now they know who I am because of my videos. They're like, oh, dude, I can't believe we never met before. In the back of my head, I'm like, I met you, like, you know, at Subway in North Hollywood, you know? But they don't remember, and it's fine. And if they ask me to shoot something, I'm not going to be like, yo, fuck you. You didn't want to shoot a video with me when I had 300 followers. I'm like, yeah, great. Let's shoot an idea. I mean, is it a good idea? Let's figure it out, right? But I'll never take anything personal. And I think that's what helps you get to that next level in this industry. It's like, you don't take anything personal. Everything's a game. Everything's a business.
Right.
And if someone doesn't want to work with you for a certain reason, you know, it's probably not personal. Like, he didn't want to shoot with me because I was a bad person. He just didn't want to shoot with me because I didn't have the numbers. And I respect that. And I mean, maybe that's not how I'll approach the next smaller creator, but I get it. I understand it. And it's a game, right? So
do you feel like over time, and you've been doing this for a while now, do you think that it's kind of hindered your ability to make authentic friendships opposed to transactional friendships? Because like that's what I've, you know, again, I realized that off the bat. It was kind of like, you know, LA, everything's very transactional, of course, but I struggled for a little bit to find authentic like friendships opposed to the ones that were benefiting both. And there is a mix where it's like, you know, I like Tana. Tana is one of my best friends here. Yeah. It's also someone who I film with on a religious base. Like it's like I film with Tana every time I'm with her, but I have amazing organic conversations, and I know that if I call her, she's going to be at my house and help me, and if she calls me, I'll be there to help her. But it's like it's a very rare thing to find here. And have you felt that way, or how have you overcame that, or kind of, you know, gotten around that?
So I think like 100% everybody I come across, it's transactional, right? Like you want to hang out with me or have a conversation with you because I have this, right? And I think understanding that, not even just in social media, just anything in general, everyone's always using somebody for something, right? Sure. And that might be the base of how you meet somebody. So yeah, sure, I meet people because I've seen your videos, we should do something. And I think over time as you develop, that might have been the reason we met, but then you start to go through layers, right? And you know, you actually form a friendship, right? And for some people, you know, you kind of know like, okay, I know this person's intentions and I'm not going to just cut them off, but I understand that our relationship will never go to that next level because maybe we just don't click, or maybe, you know, they were just using me for this, or maybe they weren't even just using me. Maybe we met because of that and it just never got there. I have tons of friends that are just friends in passing, right?
Right. So you're saying it's like embrace the transactional
friendships. Yeah. And then you know, as time goes along, you'll be able to, you know, go through those layers and see, I'm actually friends with this person. Does this person actually care, right? And a lot of times you won't understand it until like, let's say until you get canceled or something happens or you lose your business or whatever the case may be. And then that person's not picking up the phone anymore, right? But I mean, yeah, for sure. I think anybody I come across, it's that relationship. But, you know, as you start to peel back the layers, you really form friendships. And I have tons of friends who I consider real friends that, you know, yes, I work with them, but, you know, I know the relationship is way past work.
Damn.
But I don't have a lot. I'm not saying that like I have like 70 friends that that. You know, it's like 10, maybe 5.
I don't have that many. Like I have a lot of like friends. I don't have that many. Like I have probably like 7 to 10 best friends. Like people like I hang out on a daily basis. I love best friends is pretty elementary. In my opinion.
I don't think I have a best friend.
Sure.
You know, I have a bunch of best friends, but
close friends.
Yeah, close friend story.
Once you reach a certain age, it's close friends. So I lived in a content house. It was something that kind of helped me.
Which is insane.
It's fucking
insane, man.
Would you ever live in a content house?
Fuck no.
Now, 5 years ago, would you have lived in a content house?
Fuck yes. Yeah. I mean, dude, I was like so desperate to just talk to anybody. I mean, I was here for like a year and a half before I ever even met an influencer. You know, nowadays, this is like back before, there wasn't even TikTok. You know, and back then it was like, you could be on TikTok, you could literally have like 500 followers and get a video that gets 1 million views. With the algorithm, if you have just something interesting, it doesn't even have to be a great video. If it's just interesting, you get 1 million views. Back then, it's like your video's not going viral unless a big account shares it.
Yeah.
Just simple as that.
I used to like try to get World Star and all these guys to post my shit.
DM everybody.
Yeah. I would text my couple videos, so like each couple Instagram account, and that's what inevitably got my popularity on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I would make these cute couple videos with my girlfriend Cover, and I would make them on Instagram, and I would just then share them to literally DM 50 to 75.
Someone's gonna bite.
Couple ones, and they would bite, and then they would just one repost it, then 4 others repost it, and then another one, and inevitably it just gained my following.
Yeah, so you know the grind. Back in the day, it was different. It wasn't you can just post and it goes.
There was no algorithm that was.
There's no algorithm.
It was like you had to get one viral video, and then you have to follow it up with something even better. And once you have a second one, as long as your second one did better than the first one, you had what we would call career success. And then if the second one didn't do as well as the first one, then you'd have to do a lot more work to catch up on the like maybe 8th or 10th one.
Dude, the first video that had go viral that had got 400,000 views, I quit my job. I was like, dude, I'm famous. The next video I posted, 2,000 views. I was like, what? What happened? So I was like, it was very inconsistent. But to your point, like, yes, absolutely. I would edit for people for free. I would go grab props for people for free. I would do anything. So like, if I was in the position,
you did everything you can to.
Yeah, if I was in the position, I would tell people too. Like people would, I had one guy. I would do edits for him, and I wasn't even an editor. You know, I was like just figuring it out. Like I'll go call someone who's an editor and be like, yo, I need help getting this done, and they would like offer me like $20, $30, and I'd be like, dude, don't even give me any money. Granted, I needed that $20, $30. I'd be like, just put me in videos. That's all I want.
Wow.
So if you put me 5 years ago when I had nothing, I'd freaking move in the house. I'd freaking be the groundskeeper. I would do whatever just to be around that so I can grow and, you know, do what I want to do as my passion, which is creating content.
So my current roommate, Michael, that's exactly how you got into the Hype House. He was a fan of my vlogs, and right before Hype House, I was doing like probably 300 to 500,000 views, and you know I had I think 300,000 subscribers. And so I was doing this, and he saw them. He hit up every single person in my friend group to come hang out, and then we did the Hype House thing. He asked to come over, and inevitably he built a relationship with one of the members, and he came over and never left.
Wow.
Slept on the couch and said, I will work for free. I will do whatever you want. I will be in all of your bits. I will be out of my comfort zone. I will do anything. I just need to be a part of this. This is
I
what
love
have
people
to
like
do.
that.
And
that's
to this
the
day,
people that make
he
it.
is one of my closest friends. He's great. And he is always, even to this day, even after he's got, brand deals, he's got things, he's got like a living situation. He can get his own apartment. He chooses to sleep on my couch and just film.
That he will make it to the top of the top.
He's
because
crazy.
The thing is with those people, like I come across so many people who like I even hire, like I have a production team, and I hire people to help be PAs and producers, and there's just so many people who don't want it.
There's people who say they want it but then don't do it.
They don't. Yeah, their actions don't come in. They don't want it. It's like I would have done anything to just be in the room.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you get these people who just moved to LA. You've been here for 2 weeks and you've met me.
Yeah.
Or you met him or her. It took me a year and a half to meet anybody. Like, dude, you just met somebody. You just moved here.
Yeah.
Like, you know how hard that is alone? Like, dude, I'm gonna be in there. I'm gonna be freaking. I'm not gonna sleep.
Right.
Like, I have editors who, in the past have fallen asleep or have done this or have done that, and it's like you're not even working that hard. Like,
no, I know.
Like, dude, I would have done anything to just be. You know how many people would beg to be in the opportunity, like to even live in this country, let alone be in the room with a creator who has a massive following where they can learn, and then eventually, I never want to hold anyone down, right? Like anybody who ever works for me, I'm like, dude, this is your job right now, so do your job, but at the same time, you should be learning as much as you can.
Yeah.
Because I'm not ever gonna say you have to be my PA forever.
Yeah.
No, I was in your position once, so do your job because you have to get paid, you have to make money to pay rent, right?
Yeah.
But learn what you're learning, and then have the confidence to separate yourself and go create your own content, or in your off time, try to create your own videos until that becomes a thing. So then you can go be your own creator.
That's exactly what I did with all my hometown runs. So they all start like, so when I was like first became homeless, they let me sleep in their cars and stuff like that. And like, they helped me. So then when I inevitably started making money on YouTube, I think I made $2,000 a month. And that's when I quit my job. And I was like, I'm going to do this full time. I scraped up enough money and got a like townhouse, moved all the friends who had initially helped me, and I said, this is a place I won't charge you rent or anything. I just want you to figure out what you want to do with your life and move from it. And they became part of the Hype House with me. They did all these things with me. Still live with me to this day.
That's amazing.
And it's just a great, like, I just feel comfortable and safe around them.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And I mean, you literally changed their lives.
Yeah.
Like literally that's the most rewarding thing. So that's dope.
Do you see a difference between creators, like when, let's just say when you were starting off to now?
Oh, they got it easy, man. They got it easy nowadays.
Yep. I was expecting that.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, you can be a creator and very easily make like $2,000-3,000 a month. And that's enough to get by.
More
yeah,
now.
more than enough, right?
More now.
But I'm saying at worst case.
Yeah.
Like at absolute worst case.
I know people who don't even have a following and just go live on, like, not huge, like I said, like 100K on TikTok. I think that's a decent following.
Yeah.
And they go live every day on TikTok and they just make $30,000 a month.
With social media, for example, you know, what does the average American make? I think like $30K a year.
46 now.
46. So 46,000. Like, you can easily never be the biggest TikTok star or Instagram star. One of us could never even hear of this person.
Yeah.
And they can very easily for the rest of their life just coast and make, you know, $40,000 a year. It's
fucking
very
nuts.
easy, which makes it an actual career, which is insane, right? And it's not like
nuts.
we don't know them just because they might never get past 50,000 followers.
Why would you? You make $40,000 a fucking month.
And it's just they can coast forever. That was not a thing when we started, or at least back when I started, it was not a thing.
Probably wasn't a thing when I started. Like, the thing is I love this, is I started in, like, officially, like, started when in 2016. And I didn't actually get any ounce of popularity until 2019. Wow. So it's like, but beautiful part is I blew up when brands started seeing the, like, ability to make money and stuff like that, which helped me. But there was, a fucking huge struggle by then. And people had already established, and I was like, well, fuck, I've been doing this for so long. When's my chance? Yeah. And inevitably it just came. And that was just something. But I always see it where it's like, I hate to say it, but a lot of them don't understand
a struggle. I don't know.
Well, it's not just that. It's also like for me, it's like I have an obnoxious work ethic, and it seems to be that you have that as well. And I think that's the difference between a lot of them. A lot of them feel like they don't necessarily have to have one, and I think that just makes me a sour, envious person.
Yeah, dude, the people that are just coasting and they just, I mean, I guess you never know what anyone does behind closed doors.
That's true.
But yes,
I think that's my one bad suit is I sometimes feel as I'm like, fuck, I'm putting in all this work and you just did this for 2 minutes.
Dude, dude, I'm convinced. Fuck that. I'm convinced they're not working as hard as me, dude. I see these kids on the beach. I see them like at parties, you know, and they put their work in when they have to. But at a certain point, it's like, yes, it's very hard for somebody where, like, you know, even your position, right? You're doing this shit. You're fucking putting your blood, sweat, and tears in it. Right. You're going all fucking day, and then, you know, Johnny fucking whatever comes on TikTok and does 3 dances, and he's 20 million followers, and he did nothing, and you're over here slaving over content,
what am I
and it's
doing
like,
wrong?
yeah, you don't have a 7-pack. That's the problem. And so like, that definitely gets to your head, and like, dude, at least from speaking for myself, like there was so many times where I doubted myself, where I was like, dude, I'm doing this, I'm making no money, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, maybe it's not meant for me, or like, you know, this person just started yesterday and they fucking have, you know, my end goal already, you know, in 2 days. So you doubt yourself, man. And I've doubted myself so many times, and I was like very, very close to calling it quits several times.
Are you religious?
Not really. I mean, I believe in God.
Do you think everything like the way that I'm thinking about this is because I grew up Christian, but I'm not I'm not necessarily that religious as I wish I could be. But that's something is like, do you believe that everything that you're doing is like leading to a path that is something that's meant to be? Or are you kind of just like to me, it's like inevitably I think that different paths that I could end up taking and the smallest thing in the world could alter my end path or what exactly I would be going to. And it's just crazy for me to think about is like maybe like everything bad that's happened to me made me something else later in life. Yeah. Which so I kind of live by the reason of everything happens for a reason. Is that something that you ever do, or do you kind of just go, that's life and move on? Yeah,
I mean, dude, I wish I do believe that, you know, your life is set out for you and you follow this path, but there's just so many times where I don't believe it, where I'm just like, you know, it's in my hands to do this or that, and you know, I feel like I was put on this earth for a purpose, and it's figuring out that purpose. But I do feel like you could have multiple purposes, and sometimes your purpose might not be that big grand idea that it is. But I think you eventually come to accept what it is. But I'm a big. Have you ever watched The Secret?
No.
You gotta watch it, man, dude. I watched The Secret. It's about the law of attraction. You know the law of attraction, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So the whole thing, it's a book, but I watched a documentary. It's on Netflix, and it's about the law of attraction. And dude, I watched this thing every day for 2 years. Didn't miss a day. I had the DVD.
Oh wow.
At 6 a.m. And basically, the whole documentary is just basically about what you think about is what you bring about. And I literally created everything that I have because I would visualize it at night. So every night, no matter what, and it's still to this day.
Is that manifestation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the past 4 or 5 years now, it doesn't matter where I am. Every night, I'm gonna visualize for 10 minutes. I'm gonna close my eyes and just act things out.
I do that, dude.
Yes, right? Then, after for 5 minutes, I'll get on my knees and pray and say everything that I'm thankful for. Some things that I currently have, some things that I don't have that I want. But I'm putting it out there that I'm thankful that I have those things. And dude, I gotta
do that.
Dude, I've been at a girl's house. I'll go in the bathroom. I've never missed a night.
I'm gonna do that tonight.
I've been drunk. I've done it. I've been I don't miss a night. I'll go in the bath. I don't care if you think I'm weird. I'll go in the bathroom and do it. Even if I'm at a girl's place, I'll go in the bathroom and do it. And I'll tell them yo, I have to go in there and visualize. I don't miss a night.
Are you visualizing an Oscar?
I have. Yes, I have. I have. Yo, the thing is with the visualization stuff, it's just a game.
Sure.
It's literally just a game. So I'm not visualizing. I haven't been visualizing the same things. They've changed because the things have become true.
Right.
Right. And every couple months it changes. You start off small and you gain confidence, but one of the biggest things they say in The Secret is that the amount of energy it takes to attract a cup of coffee is the same amount of energy it takes to attract $1 billion. But for you, you could just go to Starbucks and get a cup of coffee, and that's your mindset for it because it's so easy to get coffee, right? But to attract that coffee to come in your life is the same amount of energy as $1 billion, except we're putting $1 billion on a pedestal, where it's but it's $1 billion, you have to do that. When I first moved here, I wanted to do comedy, I was trying to act, and I talked to a stand-up comedian, and they're yeah, if you want to make it in this town as a stand-up, it takes 6 years, the average stand-up comic to be a big comedian, 6 years. Dude, I walked around that whole year thinking, fuck, I gotta do this shit for 6 years? 6 years just to somewhat make it?
Sure.
And it's because that's what he was taught. And that's it. So forever for him, no matter what, it's gonna take him 6 years. Because he's already told himself it's gonna take 6 years because that's the norm. You get what I'm saying? But I did videos, and then in a year and a half, I became famous and I became a comedian. Right? Yeah. And now someone's saying, well, Adam did it in a year and a half. And there could be someone who wants to do comedy today and start tomorrow and become Kevin Hart. And then someone's gonna be well, he did it in one day. You see what I'm saying? It's whatever you put on it.
Oh, shit. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? But the thing is,
fuck, I really want this to happen in a month. It's gonna happen in a month.
Yeah, it will. Exactly. But if you say, whatever you say it's gonna happen is what's gonna happen. When when stuff would come true for me, when I would actually manifest stuff, the most stuff would happen when I would be alone. Because when I'd hang out with people, I'd have to face reality. If I'm in my apartment, I'm I'm a billionaire, I'm famous, I'm Kevin Hart, and no one's gonna tell me no. You can't tell me no because I'm by myself, right? But then when I go meet up with you or him or who or whoever, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not Kevin Hart. I'm not this. I'm not that. And I have to face reality, right? So the more time I spend alone, the more shit would come true because you have to literally think you have to be something you're not. I'm thinking I am something that I'm not. I'm crazy.
You're faking it till you make it.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. You did the Bryce Hall roast.
Yes.
I personally think you carried that.
Thank you.
Now, there was a lot of stuff cut from it.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to tell?
Oh, man, there was some of my best jokes were cut.
Is there anything you'd like to say? Because I want to hear so many of them. I talked to Bryce, and Bryce was like, dude, there were so many good jokes.
There was you know what's crazy? So the way we wrote the roast, it was me, Jason, Brandon, Jonah.
I hear Jason wrote a lot of people.
Yeah. We all met up and kind of wrote some jokes. I mean, obviously, Jason carried the weight on writing a lot of people's jokes. I obviously worked on my set very personally and very closely, but I did workshop with them and put ideas out. So a lot of the comments are like, oh, nobody roasted Adam W. I got so many roasts. The problem was they were all like terrorist jokes.
Oh, Jesus
You know what I'm
Christ.
saying? Which is fine, dude. I do comedy. I wrote some of those jokes. I wrote like
100%.
some of the terrorist jokes I wrote some of the best ones, you know? But it's a roast. It's comedy, you know?
Yes.
And of course, I get it. You know, those are gonna get cut. Those aren't brand friendly.
So lame.
And even for what I said, like you know my videos, like I'm very PG. So even like what I said was even kind of pushing the bar.
But I
on my
liked it. It was kind of seeing like a different light of you.
Yeah.
That's why I liked it.
I love doing that. And you know, I think when you do get edgy and you do say stuff that's inappropriate, if there's you can't just say something blatantly that's inappropriate. If there's like a context of a joke and it's very structured wise and it's a genius joke written like throughout.
Andrew Schultz does it
like,
really well.
Yes, he's amazing at it. So like a setup punchline or like an analogy or a metaphor to a joke, like people appreciate that writing. Now, whatever the content within that, it might be inappropriate. You get away with it because it was such a beautifully crafted joke. So there was some beautifully crafted ones that they took away from me that I guess I probably shouldn't say. But there was, I think overall, I think I had 4 jokes cut. Everyone had about like 4 jokes cut.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. I anticipated jokes being cut. Like I knew some of them that I wrote. I was like, I'm gonna still say this because it's gonna be funny.
Because even the people,
yeah, and you win over
Creates
the crowd.
energy.
Yeah, and just the way you structure out your set, like I put a lot of work into my set. If you can't tell, like
Yeah,
you know,
I could tell.
the transitions, the setups. I wanted to make sure I hit everybody on stage. I wanted all my jokes to be creative. I didn't want to get. If you look at the roast, there's some people who. Everyone did a great job.
Sure.
People don't do this, you know. They don't do stand up. They don't go on stage and perform. Having millions of followers versus going in a room in front of 250 people it's nerve wracking. And I get it.
100%.
It's very hard.
I did a performance in front of 400.
It doesn't matter how many followers you have. Once you face that many people, you get nervous, right?
Yeah.
And you know, through the years, I've got rid of stage fright. But you know, there was a lot of jokes that were like this long, like 7-8 sentences and then punchline. And it's too long because the crowd there is not a comedy crowd. These are people who also have followers. You know, there's so to say a lot of, you know, influencers in the crowd. So for my set, you see everything is set up punchline. I'm in and out. I'm not ever explaining something too long because I know the crowd doesn't have the attention span. Yeah. Right? So the jokes that I wrote were crafted for that crowd and for online. So yeah, it was a cool experience, but there was definitely some good jokes cut out. Everyone had jokes cut out.
Do you think influencer roasts are here to stay? Or do you think it's kind of like influencer boxing?
Yeah, I mean, shit, I hope it is. I mean, I enjoy them, but I mean, it's tough. It's like you have one bad roast and then everyone's like, oh, fuck these roasts, you know?
Right.
But then, you know, you have a good roast and everyone's like, oh, do another one.
Sure.
So, I mean, there's only been 2. And in my opinion, I think the last roast was great. You know, to get up there, to write, dude, there's a lot, it's very hard to write those jokes.
I think the delivery too, it's like, it's one thing to practice in your bedroom, but even then it's like, you know, over time people learn by making mistakes, and a lot of these influencers don't learn from these mistakes because they've never done it.
Oh yeah, you go up there and like, yeah, you can butcher a joke. It's all about delivery, you know?
For sure.
And joke can be very funny, and it's also like a
joke could be not even funny and have amazing delivery and people still laugh.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, even like improving, like in my set, like I work a little bit with people who never said something in the crowd and I would react to that. Those are all, so to say, just sprinkles, right? But I mean, for my set, I had a skeleton built out, and as you feel the crowd, you know, I had some jokes that I was like, I'm not going to say this because it's not going to work anymore. You know, and then I had this joke where I was like, I'm going to word this differently. All happening in my brain as I'm doing it. So yeah, you learn how to maneuver the crowd and really work the crowd.
If you were to be roasted by, let's say, your group of friends, who do you think would be the best?
King Batch is great.
Dude, he's so good.
He's hilarious.
He's
so good at crowd work. He's just a natural born roaster. I think he would go in. He's actually been doing. He's been opening up for Joe Coy. He's doing his own tour at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's killing it. He was one of the guys who really like pushed me to start getting back on stage. So I appreciate him always for that. But yeah, he's hilarious. And he's literally doing 2 tours right now, and he's killing it.
Well, at that current moment, I'm safe to say we're locked out.
We're locked out.
Is there anything you'd like to say?
Yes. Make sure you watch this podcast. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. If you're watching this right now, make sure you watch it, or tell a friend. Tell a friend about this if you're watching this right now.
Dude, I think honestly, this was really like. Usually, I structure these a lot like therapy, and like this was something where it was kind of just nice to like. I feel like if someone listening or watching this is like to understand essentially what, goes on in the career that we have.
Yeah. It's like we said, bro, like you at that point when you were watching my stuff, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I was doubting myself, right? So it's insane how people perceive you, but we all go through shit and we like to see people at their finish, at the finished product, but you don't know all the shit they had to do to get there.
I have declared that you were not guilty of stealing the Oscar.
Thank you. And I think I just want to say this. I am looking to steal one.
Okay.
I just don't know anyone who has one. So if you know someone, I will do it. Yeah. But no, I don't know anyone who has an Oscar. So. if I did, I'd steal it. For sure.
Will Smith. Okay. We're officially locked out. Bye, guys. Where did he go? Oh, God.
He didn't let me take it. Oh. I'm fine, though.
Oh, shit. Okay. Thank you for joining our podcast.
Thanks.
Okay, bye. All right.